Didn't work for DDT, maybe next time it will.
I agree with you. All right, let's get to it. Game number 2, we're going to Miramar once again. Toby and Godspeed bring us the desert.
Thank you so much, James. Thank you so much, Toughies. Yes, we are here once again. The last time for this day on Miramar. And last plane was very northeastern skewed. This time around, we head a bit further west, Godspeed. So everyone is being pleased today.
Yeah, the gods have pleased a little bit of everyone. But yeah, the East not necessarily too cut off. Same as the last game. Most teams were able to stretch where they wanted to. My eyes are glued to San Martin, though. I really want to see what Day Trade is going to do on this.
Yes. Are they committing? Are they going through with it? I'm not seeing them out of the plane yet. Yes, now there they go. So there might just be a case where, you know what, we'll risk 2 games. We'll risk a double Miramar. We still have another 10 to play in the group, so why not try and show DD Team that the fact that they just beat us 4-0, that's a one-time thing.
This is luck. It was just a luck draw.
just luck. They didn't take any casualties. They got lucky. They got lucky.
Cleanest swipes I've seen. But yeah, you know what? You said it last game, though. If there's ever a time to hot drop, it would be in the first couple games of group stages.
Exactly.
So you know what? Day Trade, they did catch that 4-0L, but maybe they can turn this one around as they are going to contest yet again on DD Team.
Splits are the same this time around too, as DD Team ups to cross the road, try and kind of pin them in, hurt them inside the middle building here. And
there's a gun I haven't seen used in a long time.
Yeah, it seems to me like this time around. This time around, Day Trade does claim the building for themselves. They took a few casualties in the previous one and ended up being the ones pushing it, but now here we are. Bilmuth sharing a building with Spaceman as he has found himself a Tommy gun. We saw Tommy gun kills in yesterday's games. Not something you see too often. And here we might be blessed with a Uzi one as the first circle takes us far over to the west.
Yeah, Uzi is actually just such a nasty gun to use early. It just shreds. That 9mm is very dangerous coming out of that weapon, even just naked without any attachments at all. But Spaceman is actually going to be able to cross back over towards his team, and now this is what interests me about this the most. Are they going to back off? Which team is going to press the issue, or do they just leave this?
Let's put it this way. They have a very, very good fire escape in the sense that they are sat furthest west. Their vehicle spawns on the west side of the city, and the circle is in that direction. So DD Team, we know you are the team that likes to be the nuisance of others. We know you're the team that likes to loot edge, and now, for reasons, you are in the center. But what are you going to do? And Mamo, what are you going to do with the Panzerfaust?
Oh, the Panzerfaust.
Panzerfaust in buildings just screams like suicides to me. You're like, oh, wait, right, I keep forgetting the damage behind me if I use it up against the wall.
Yeah, Panzers have been, at least even just playing in pubs has been such a pain to deal with, especially if you're trying to breach a building. But yeah, it does look like DD2 is actually just holding this nice wide swath of area, right? They have Cold going all the way to the north, and they have Spaceman actually setting up in the south.
Yeah, you see LG starting to flex in this direction as well. Flood peeking on over. Didn't get as much playtime as he wanted yesterday, and maybe now this is him saying, you know what, I want to feel warm as well. I want to go out here and get a few shots in down towards San Martin. Little to no risk involved with it myself, so might as well to see what I can find. I don't know, maybe he found himself a good scope and the DMR, so he'll be able to join the fight in the city down below.
I will say, at least, you know, it wasn't a terrible game for LG. They didn't manage to make it in the top 4. They did get some kills as well. That was a very difficult push to hold from 2 separate teams in Church, so I don't blame them at all. Not a bad start for LG. I would love to see that consistency continue, especially if they can steal some of these kills from DD Team or Day Trade.
The fact is, if you make your way to that stage of the game when you're as good at closing out games as Luminosity is, you're gonna get wins. Like, it's like, sure, one of them every now and again will be that, oh, we got 4th place and 1 kill, it's only a 5-point game, but more often than not, when you're a team like that, they will convert.
Well, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, we may have an interview here with this gentleman right here, Zhao Yang.
Love to hear what he has to say. But we'll keep talking until it pops up on our screen again. A player who has joined the Shen train and now is a hell of a player. So let's see exactly what this Phantom has to say.
变化还是有的，就是每个人都愿意配合得更默契了一点。其实最大的变化还是我们打得更有侵略性了一点吧，以前打得太过。
That was in a language I do not speak.
Enlightening.
So please, Godspeed, translate.
It was
to me
very enlightening. He was basically saying, look, we are the best. We are going to continue to have this success. And everyone else sucks.
Yeah, I mean, it's usually I see the majority of Chinese players as more humble than that, but if that's what he finished up, I mean,
I may have taken some liberties.
If you're telling me that's what he was saying, I believe you. And you know what? With how he's been fighting so far, no one's really been posing a big threat to him, so maybe he just thinks everyone else sucks. That's not out of the question. we'll of course hope that we can get the proper interview rolling as we make our way further here into game number 2 of day number 2.
As I said, I may have taken some liberties with that interview, but no, honestly, Zhao Yang has just been amazing. Again, we talked so much about Shen and how good he's been on that team, but really Zhao Yang has just been amazing. He's been consistent as well.
And for a roster, I mean, to continue kind of down the same storyline that we talked about with D Plus and other teams who lack that one player, when you then do have one, but only have one, you're also putting so much pressure on that one guy to perform, because if he doesn't go out and does everything right, the team crumbles. Like, that is immense pressure to put on one person, whether that's the IGL or just your main fragger entry, whatever it may be. So the fact that other players are now starting to, in this case Xiao Yang, but other players are going out and showing, Jen, don't worry, buddy, I'll take the load off your shoulders every now and again and kind of put the carry hat on myself. I love to see that, and I think if that's becoming a trend on Tyloo, where we're seeing not only Xiao Yang, but other teams, other members of the team start to kind of back up Shen in some of the fights they're taking, which we have already seen in this tournament, Tyloo might just be one of the next big threats out of China.
Yeah, Longs and 755 as well have been putting in work in this event for them as well. And I will say, is from experience, that the mental relief you get when your teammates are actually starting to put in work, you're like, okay, I don't actually need to do everything. I can trust my teammates to make this play, or to hold our flank, or to support when needed. So that's going to be huge for Shen and Zhao Yang as well.
Sure is. Now, as everyone is rabbing on over towards the western side of the map, trying to find locations to call there, and see Page just checking.
Glad they drove through that.
Yeah, making sure. Gotta get all the checkpoints down, you know. There are rewards to be claimed off of getting all of them in one game. Of
course.
Which I don't think anyone has ever done. But let's see now as the pushes continue once again. Last game it was Daytrade who put on the aggressive. This time around it is as well Flash, opting to aggress with the Orc over the Panzer Power. As I say that, he swaps on over. Oh no. And there's a guy upstairs. And they have no clue. Oh no. The thing is, he's going to flick whenever he gets surprised and just spam that straight into a wall and kill himself.
We will see as he goes through the shotgun, immediately gets the bucket, and gets the double cold. He will find Belmop and Flash.
Hashtag denied on entry as they come around, but shotgun versus shotgun battle. Pochus has something to say about the shotguns in the hands of Cold as he takes one down in return. They have to be fast with the rest, so Norrens has to come over and assist. But is he going to go close, or is he going to stay at a distance, off-angle position, try and catch them on approach? I actually don't mind the fact that he's not grouping up with the teammates. Even though the rests will take longer, stay at an off-angle, catch them off guard when they get there.
Puchu should be the one, or one of the members should be able to res that as they have the angle. As you said, Norris is going to find a beautiful call, Toby, and that is going to be huge for Daytrade as they will be able to recover the knock as well.
It's such an obvious thought, right? DD team goes, we knock 2, they're 2 alive, they're going to both be resing. But Norris sticks around for a little while longer, but here comes Spaceman, the sneaky man around the back up by the road. Norris still not at the point from where he can hear the footsteps, and if he goes as slow as he does here, I don't think he ever will until the backstab comes through. Mamu does get flushed, one of the star players of the DD team, but Norrens now looking the other way around. Don't think he saw anything or heard anything, just being very cautious, knowing that this is a big city and the wraparound potential is always there.
Here comes the interesting psychology behind this as well. If you're a team like Daytrade, who did get wiped for, okay, Olympus is going to find Roth here.
Is it? Yeah, he's dead.
Yeah, that's unfortunate, but...
Back to your point.
Yeah, back to my point. Fortunate is also Roth, my friend.
We get interrupted by these guys every now and again, but we'll get back. There you go.
But yeah, the psychology behind this, right? Daytrade got wiped clean, 4-0 in the first drop. Yeah. And now look at it. They have 4 live, and they now have the advantage as well on DD Team. So now the ball is actually in DD Team's court.
And they will have to play each other again tomorrow.
Yes, they will.
More Miramar games are about for these guys. Could be fun if you have a 4-0 versus a 4-0 to see what's going to happen coming into tomorrow. But if I know DD Team right, at least, they're going to commit to it all the way through. In the meantime now, here comes Flash with his Panzerfaust.
And he does not put that down.
It just looks off, and there you go,
Oh
nice
my
catch.
goodness.
I think that's Norrens hearing the steps on the outside, calling that to the team. He said, I heard something, I don't have an angle, can you check it? Belmuth swings, spots him instantly, and now Emo hearing the footsteps of them going back the other way as well. Oh, the timing is just off. Here's the footstep of them crossing on over as well, but no angles for him to see, and just like that, Emo pick, well, he's a lonely pick.
Yeah, lonely pig indeed. And the problem with these angles as well is even if he does get the knock, he won't be able to get a flush. So he's going to need to wait as he hears them coming in to do the most damage he can, Toby.
I don't like... Okay, yeah, I was just going to say I don't like them flexing out. I don't like them spreading out. Just saying, he's probably left by now. Look at how thinly spread they are. Good thing that he fell behind a wall, Belmont, because when you're 4v1, you cannot lose players. And Emo Pig might be a solo player, but he's packing a punch. Good thing Flash gets the peek around the corner there in the end, and they will come out victorious. So Day Trade down 16th in the previous one. This time around, they say no.
So it's been a straight clean wipe for both teams.
One apiece as well.
Yep. DD team and Day Trade have traded, so I do imagine we will see them again.
New circle pops as well as we
my
head
goodness.
further towards the west. A lot of unplayable terrain in this one, and a team that we pretty much didn't mention at all in the previous game, E-Arena, is sat dead center, and we'll see what they can make of it. It's not always that the center, I mean, oftentimes center is amazing, but this time around there ain't a whole lot to play in that center, as our eyes are on Na'Vi and Twisted Minds, two of the best teams out of EMEA, trying to make their way towards the circle. But right now, Twisted Minds are trying to deny Na'Vi entry, and I like it because they're not grouped up yet. They cannot allow for Na'Vi to think for a second that they have the upper hand here, which they kind of would have. But speaking of upper, Petulance back where he belongs.
To see him up
He gets
here.
he gets like +3 aim whenever he's up in a mountain.
They need to put like some sort of spray or something. Whoa, speaking of spray, Loki's gonna take the shots here, and Americano coming in. D plus Kia just wildly sending.
Are they committing to this?
I think.
They have one up close. Minuta is there, able to get the nugget to push on in as well. Danoa not ready for this one, but as I say that, Anonix swings, finds one. Damage done on towards Stava as well as Soul. The second wraparound bite the attention. Keep him off guard for a little while longer. Soul finds him in return, but Anonix falls too. So damage done on both sides as Anonix does get flushed.
And that was just a wild send just down to Zenith now as Danoa is trying to clean this up. Loki should be able to get res, but maybe it's just down to Soul right now. This is a one-on-one.
Doesn't have the angle, and now Forrest going,
that should be
everyone's
good.
dying over here. Yeah, that should be a Nate ride on point. Nope, as I say that, Zenith able to back off of it, but damage has been done on both fronts. Even if Soul gets Loki up here, I feel like there's so much attention on those teams right now, because again, as we said, there's only so much you can play in this area of the map that I think neither of these two teams are bound for placement points.
I think Friendly Fire as well has kind of caught wind of this fight happening, and you also see Forrest trying to maybe get a peek at what's happening over here. Zenith doing his best to stay alive. Pixel should be able to find it.
There you go.
And he does.
He found it!
What?
He got so right before he died, and therefore both of them are out. Wow.
What a heads-up play from Zenith, though.
Korean collateral damage at its best, as they both say, if I go down, I take you down with me.
The fact that he knew he was getting shot from a different angle, he committed to that spray, and he finds it on Soul, was very well played.
They knew they had an unfinished knock. They knew that that kill right there is worth 2 points. It was going to be a salvage game regardless. He was one alive in a position where he was bound to be crashed eventually. If he can get 2 points with 2 bullets, that's worth it. And wow, Zenith, what a way to just salvage.
Yeah, that was, I mean, obviously they don't want to go out early, but if you're going to go out early, that was a immaculate save coming out from Zenith, and nice little pickup from Friendly Fire as well.
I mean, a 0-point game converted to a 3-point game. That over the course of 12 games, that can get you very safely into winners brackets. So I just say they'll be taking that
very safely.
Well, I mean, this is where Panzerfausts come in play, and I'm like, don't be... Just the whole... I mean, 4 in a car was never a good idea, but now that they have a weapon that can one-shot 4 in a car, that's just even worse.
I think, does the bus have enough health to survive one, though? I think it
I feel like the damage alone from the Panzerfaust kills the people inside the car.
Oh, I think you're right.
Even if the vehicle survives.
The vehicle will survive, but they will not.
And it's a pretty big target to hit. You don't have to headshot them or
It's
anything.
also
You just gotta
very
hit
slow.
the bus. That's it. That's the thing. So hopefully they'll be swapping vehicles over as they get closer. Circle centers up. I don't want to say kind of as expected, because this one could really have gone anywhere, but we're centering up, and so will everyone else after. The next circle should take us over towards none other than Gen G. So we'll see if they can somehow back-to-back. So right now the position is looking very, very good.
And this is just such an awkward circle to play on the western wall. There's really not that much to play. As you see, the Expendables trying to get into a dip, but Tai Lu is so ready to receive this.
It's such a weird situation where you have plenty of space on the south, but as you can see here, there's nothing in the south to be played on. Everyone knows that what little there is down here is already taken, which is why you're seeing teams forced to take fights in areas of the map they normally would have never even been in. So everything on the edge is taken, with the exception of one of the north side compounds. Gen G had it in their split before, but thankfully now realize and call it early, saying we could stay, but then we're bound to lose players. And if there's one thing Gen G doesn't like to do in the early game, then it's lose players unnecessarily.
And they're fairly good at actually keeping those players alive. When they die gloriously with 4 up. So
gloriously, I don't know, but they die together, that's for sure.
But yeah, Tai Lu is still trying to take shots. The Expendables will actually make it to where they were trying to play, but that position Tai Lu holds is actually so good for anyone trying to rotate on that road, which is why they take it. And then the other side of that, you have E-Arena as well. And Dates right now running right into Na'Vi, and they will find 2 an example in Mel.
How do they get 2 off that car pull-up? They go, here comes the train,
the
and
slowest
just like that, Na'Vi loses 2. So Uber, they lost Ali earlier as well. Uber solo player left alive, trying to wrap north around, but he's going to be running straight into Forest. But then again, I mean, yesterday we saw Uber go from, I think it was actually 12 teams alive and finish 4th. Only thing is, this time around, he does have a whole city to hide in. So we'll see. Adusi must at least have heard him, but how actively will Question Mark go out and try and find him? That's going to be the question.
The other issue is him just getting in. He's scouting right now, looking for any position to play, and there really isn't much. A solo could find a dip off the southwest of that crossroads, but friendly fire is going to hear that vehicle, as will everyone else. I'd be surprised if he even makes it in, but Uba has done some pretty incredible things solo before. As you said yesterday, going from 12th place to 4th is not bad, as he's saved them with a few kills and placement points.
Na'Vi and Uba in particular. I mean, Uba has been doing this when he was on Face Clan in the past as well. He is so good at punishing. He is so good at punishing other people's mistakes. He doesn't need to set up a good play, but if someone does something stupid or uncalculated or just based off of misinformation, he will punish it every single day. There's a reason why he was the mini master, even before the mini was a proper thing. He just farmed people, and we're like, wait, how does Face have 7 kills already, and Uba has 6? And you're like, oh wait, they haven't even been close to anyone, but he just punishes people for being in the wrong place at the wrong time. And even as a solo, he could still potentially go out and get 2 or 3 kills with very little risk involved himself here.
I can say, being on the receiving end of Uba's mini, it's not great. It's definitely not a fun time, especially when he was on FaZe.
This is an interesting circle shift. Tai Lu sat that center there, going to be all kinds of happy with that, as we see Twisted Minds finally getting inside the circle here. But there's a lot of unplayable terrain in the center of this one. Up on that hillside, it's going to be hard to play around. A stage rate as well, try to make their way in, but we're reaching a point now where everyone is jammed so close to one another, and when the edge of circle is this open road, you're bound to see casualties.
Especially with a strong team. Oh, what a spray on the Poochus! Doozy is going to find that beautifully, and he's going to get the flush eventually. Actually, hopefully it's not stolen here, but look at this. The rest of Day Trade now coming in. Very dangerous, and he's going to find another one in the nade! What a play from a Doozy!
If he didn't have to reload, you just see over the first double headshot coming through, he's dialed in. The second count barely comes in vision before they're taken down. If he could have reloaded, that would have been a triple. Holy moly, a Doozy is on one day.
So I had the option of putting Phil first or a Doozy.
Yeah, I had a Doozy for a short while as well.
Man, mistakes were made. Doozy is absolutely dialed in, as you said, now taking shots at Uba coming in. Will he find this one? No, Phil will find that, but what an absolute devastating hold on rotations here on the north side and Question Mark, but I'm now glued to Genji right at the edge of circle.
Next team on the border, next team to have to play patrol here. This time around is actually going to be friendly fire. They could just allow them to wrap around, but they don't want to have them go through, or at least do as much damage to them as you can before you have to make the move yourself. Olympus falls down, Master is down to low HP, and they still have Scabby kind of caught down behind this vehicle. Nate should be able to do it to him. Yeah, that nade is going to be good. It's going to be close. Doesn't going to take him all the way down. Thank you, Monto, for trying to apply some suppressive fire, but I don't think Scabby is going to survive.
How is he alive?
I mean, he's not going to be for much longer, surely. And a Doozy finds Flash as well. Might as well just take out the entire team.
Just for posterity at this point. I mean, the fact that Aduzi has pretty much picked apart Day Trade, as Pixel will find the knock on a master, and they're going to go off that. And I love this aggression again. Friendly Fire, when they are dialed in and when they're feeling good, they will push and they will find that aggression. And a knock actually coming from Phil first.
Across the top of the map finds one. They heard the commotion over here and they wanted a piece of the point pie. As Friendly Fire now, they know they have to deal with Forest before they can go further forward, and they are very, very secure in having to take this fight. They know exactly where they have him. As I say that though, Sharpshot does get naded, does get taken down. Master creeping further forward, takes a headshot from Filbers. Oh! Finds the double immediately after the swing just to go down to the blue. As Forest falls in return. What a hero play from Master to take down 2 with him.
And that was beautiful. I was just talking about how good Friendly Fire is in these positions when they have the knock and they push that, but man, Forest turning that around, and if you're gonna die, taking out a team with you is the way to go. They got the kill points and the placement point there. Beautiful
that was
stuff.
Huge. That was the best you could make of a somewhat troublesome situation. Circle swing south, Twisted Minds going, well, I mean, we were hoping to get the circle close to us. Wasn't expecting to actually be in it. So they have to dip. They can play around on the southern side, and everything outside of that is just going to be open, terrible fields to have to try and maneuver.
And really, again, the northeast, Toby, is just so stacked. Sonics, Gen G, Luminosity now have to start moving into this, and there is something to play, but they're going to actually end up being right on top of Petrichor once they do inevitably make it into circle.
Fights will have to come to an end quickly for these teams to start focusing inward. E-Arena, aware of this, trying to push forward. Nice defensive smoke being lobbed up there with the smoke grenade launcher. I believe that was Doozy saying, you only have one angle to peek us where you're safe. If we block you off, you're forced to go back down. Doozy and Question Mark don't want to take this fight to E-Arena right now. They just want to focus inward. They want to maneuver and say, let's just roll right in side by side, because E-Arena is that much closer to the opponents. So let them take the majority of the fire coming their way. And well, we went from Korean action. Let's watch NA find each other.
Oh, look, it's my friends as they are now fighting in this very awkward elevation here on the northeast side of the circle. And again, they're going to have to contest with multiple teams. Shrimsy, what a turn though. Relo will find that knock, but Huynh is right behind them.
What a spin, and that's a weird angle to have to spin to, straight up in the air. He goes, finds the double headshot over the top, and that's one more down. Shrimsy only knock so far though for Sonic. Should be able to get the rest on up, as Flood, fortunately for Sonic, is kind of holding off Gen G, at least to the best of his ability. It was just before, so they're going to be wrapping further around than what they would necessarily have to. The issue is these rocks are sharp and steep as hell, so they're not easy to maneuver. So Gen G, if they want to be part of this fight, it's going to take them a while to get here.
I also just may have saw an MG42. Yep, in Pio's hands. That gun, if you don't know, is disgusting. Variable fire rate, but Pio's actually going to get knocked immediately by Flood. The headshot trade from EJ, and Flood doing everything that he can, but it's actually going to be Sonics with the assist.
The ultimate cleanup duty is set up by Sonics. Flood said, guys, I did as much as I could. Now it's on you. EJ is still alive, but with the circle closing in and phase 5 being on us, it is going to be difficult, if not near impossible, for them to get that in mind. But one and EJ again. What's with the turret as he finds the second as well? What a hell of a performance as we see Question Mark fall off screen. Lyric ran over at Doozy and Phil first and got Dante as well. We're seeing this entire northern side of the circle get absolutely shredded to pieces.
And as we're talking about, this is the symptom of this circle. With so little to play, these teams are forced to fight. And look, Sonics will find a little bit of a reprieve here, but Tai Lu, just in the distance, should have the angles. Oh, Huynh, careful now.
EJ did Sonic so dirty on this. Imagine them having that hill with 4 alive. Wow, they could have wrapped back down on the eastern side, come in on the other side, and now what could have been a massive game for Sonics. Don't get me wrong, 7 kills on the top 5 placement is still huge, but they fall. What a turn. Again, awkward angles to have to flick, but we see it time and time again. These guys on LAN, global setting, they don't care. They will play the best PUBG they can.
Between EJ and then Relo's flick earlier, we saw just straight up is disgusting. And oh, this is that crash.
The follow-up pull-up, that is amazing.
Lyric's with 3 though, yeah, he will clean that up. And now on the south side, we do look at Twisted as well as the Expendables. And the problem here is even if either one of these teams is able to get the flush and the knocks on the enemies, rotating in is going to be very difficult, especially with Tai Lu's position.
Yep, Tai Lu ate a couple of circles yesterday and seems like they're still hungry for more as this one swings up towards the north. That car has about 3 bullets left in it before it blows up, so we'll see what they can make happen. I like that Twisted Minds moves early.
Twisted, yeah.
They have to move early. They have to get here before Expendables possibly can. Look at the amount of damage coming through as long through the smoke finds the first.
And the distance that Tai Lu has just been harassing. They have 5 kills, but I'm very curious to see what their damage is actually all about, as they are just peppering the Expendables here. They're not even in circle here, and they're pulled up right above Twisted.
Another team who has 0 points so far, but we cannot take out of the equation is Petrichor. They're set in the compound. They haven't had to move much this game, so helmets, vests, ammo, utility, all should be in good shape. But as you're saying, I mean, this Expendables push in just seems to be Tai Lu points in the making.
It's unfortunate is the word that I would use there for the Expendables, as they did their best. But again, playing on this west wall is so difficult because, as you see, there is just not much terrain. On top of the fact, when you have a team like Tai Lu sitting center compound with sightlines onto pretty much everything. But I am very curious to see how Petrichor does approach this again, with the utility, with the lack of being harassed, and the fact that their armor is still in good shape.
It's an awkward open angle for them to run in from, though, as they have to make their way around that southern side of the hill, straight up. I mean, you can see this open field here. Thank you, observers, again. Eventually, they will have to pass through the field up towards Tai Lu, but you have Twisted Minds and Arena on the other side, just sat there saying, oh, please do. Please do. We're wounded. We've been fighting all game. Now it's our turn to sit back. Now it's our turn to sit back and shoot at moving targets like you've been doing all game long.
At the very least for Twisted, though, they do have that ridge to work with, so they are hidden from Tai Lu if they want to make some sort of push onto E-Arena.
And for Petrichor, this is a case of we do not go anywhere until we're forced to. Everyone right now essentially eating their fourth of the circle, saying, dear PUBG gods out there, if there's a time to give us a circle, now would be it. If it goes west of the road, it would have to really swing, but if it goes over here, both the Arena and Twisted Minds, despite being duos, could actually look primed to fight this one out. And if it goes south, it's all kinds of hell for Tai Lu. So everyone is going to wait for those extra 5 seconds to see where this next one takes us.
Yeah, given the correct circle, Twisted and E-Arena could absolutely take control of this game, even with all the control that Tai Lu had. But this is going to set her right up on their compound. And so realistically, the onus is on Twisted. It is on E-Arena. And Petrichor actually with a good angle here. They can just kind of sit back.
And that's the thing. They don't, as long as they can deal with E-Arena and Twisted Minds before being envisioned to Tai Lu, it's good for them. Exactly. The thing, had this circle been just 10 meters further towards the northern compound, Petrichor would have been in all kinds of trouble. You've been in the case now where, like, we got to send it now. Like, this is our chance to 4v4 until these other 2 teams on the other side engage on us. But because they have literally a meter or 2 to work with, that would be around 6 to 8 feet for you Americans out there.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Because they have this little bit of extra space to maneuver, you can see how they're setting up here. They want to take out the duos. They don't want to get bit in the butt by all these snakes roaming in the fields. They want to deal with them and say, great, this is not going to be a good 4v4 for us regardless, but at least now it's a 4v4. Now it's just the compounds that we have to worry about.
As you said, exactly. They can focus on the teams on the west, and they don't need to move on top of the fact they have vehicles. So if they do need a desperate send later, the fact that Mill has an ARM is going to be very devastating as well if they can get a knock later in the fight for Tai Lu.
And then to go back to the talk of them not having to really fight a whole lot in the previous states of this game, these are small buildings, 1 or 2 blue zone nades. You're isolating an entire building on approach. So if you have one guy lobbing blue zone nade forwards, a car crashing in at the same time, that's you getting a not guaranteed entry, obviously, but a somewhat safe, at least, approach towards the building. And you can see that's kind of what they're setting up now. They found some
actually
some 4 vehicles. Well. Yeah, I mean, they all got cars. They all got cars, but they're waiting, of course, still for the final circle again. As long as they're inside the circle, they're not in a hurry. I think this is the same case for everyone. Get those knocks, remove some helmets, but they're not in a hurry. They'll wait 45 seconds if they have to hope that the final circle swings out of the compound.
Yeah, and Twisted obviously want to take what little position here that E-Arena have, even though there really isn't much play. There's a dip. They could use their vehicles, but they're now starting to come in. They know that they have to get rid of this duo.
They're pulling up.
Left. Yep, Perfectus is going to go down. But realistically, what play does Twisted have? This is pretty much it. Blue might actually be able to survive where he is. He will. Never mind.
The attention is on them now. I like the idea that Twisted tried to make something happen there, but E-Arena, a bigger kind of dip for them, a gutter essentially to work with on that side of the road. They had the cars already there. They had the rock as well. Twisted Minds were like, either we're going to prone this one out or we're going to get shot in a second. And you can see this exactly the same thing happening. That's the thing. E-Arena going to forfeit this one. Yes, there's no reason for them to give those 3 points away. Now, this is what Petrichor wanted. This wait it out. Let's see what's going to happen. Okay, 4v4 is on our hands. How do we approach this one? The final circle has popped. It's ending outside of the houses. So say, guys, it's an open field. look at this approach they have. Once they leave Tyloo, it's going to be so hard.
If Petrichor can somehow just put some damage and pressure onto Tyloo, they may be able to take a little bit of that center circle. You can see with the smokes, they're actually trying to do so right now, creating a wall for them to start to close this one out.
Apply pressure, yes, but one thing here. Summer cannot get knocked.
No, he cannot.
He is the off-angle player. They know he's there.
He's
they
their
saw
anchor,
they can't
yeah.
get over. If he falls, that is an entire open angle for Tyloo to wrap into. And with the changes that have come through, I talked with Ixlef coming into yesterday's games, with the changes that have come through in the team Summer, former IGL on 4AM, now with the changes from New Happy and 4AM, now he's the IGL on their team. If the IGL falls here, that could be terrible. But here comes Petrichor Road. They want to go full speed forward. They want to take matters into their own hands.
Yes, they do. And CU will actually make it in. And as we talked about blue zone grenades, but they're actually being used on the side of Tyloo, as now three members of Petrichor just on this small one-story building. Zhao Yang, the only one in front, and the nades are doing a massive amount of damage to Petrichor.
The fact that only one falls there is huge. They were all four sat on top of each other, but Mill springs out, able to take one down in return. Xiao Yang falls. We've seen the impact that Xiao Yang has had here in these late game scenarios. So having him fall early is terrible for Tyloo. Does he commit to the rest here? He might just, because they're going forward on the other side too. And it's going to end outside the city as well.
This actually is starting to favor Petrichor a little bit, though, because of the fact that, they have that still knock on a Zhao Yang, and they were able to get that member up. And so the nade, Summer will find 755, but the trade with Shen.
Couldn't commit to the rest, though, as Xiao Yang is still down, so it's a 2 versus 2. The aggressive side is on the side of Petrichor. Shen peeks on over, does find one. Summer finds one on the approach, spots Shen on the other side of the car. Granted in the cover that he needs, but falls. In return, and just like that, a 1v1. Chewy is going for the rest and long slows as he has to execute now. You can see he's crawling around Summer, trying to feed in for a cross, but it's not working on Tyloo. Currently at 10 kills, but the rest has come through for Chewy.
And they have to wait. Ixlef, yep, just needed a heal so they could go for that trade. They're going to end up finding it, and Petrichor will take that from the most disadvantageous position. They waited, as you said, and they were patient, and what a strike with those smokes.
They jumped over the top to get the killing blow onto Tyloo, a team who has been playing so well. And there you go, there's the jump shot. Thank you, Ixlef, for showcasing it in person as well. Many people doubted Petrichor coming into this tournament, but now with Summer in the lead, with Ixlef, I talked to him, he said him being now allowed to just focus on what he does best.
Yes.
Fracking. We saw it here as well. Whenever he doesn't have to worry about what the rest of the players are doing, but just focus on his crosshair placement, he is terrifying.
Yeah, and it goes back to what Gustav was saying. When you're able to stop IGL, when you're able to just be that fragger, it works out. But we're going to head to the highlights.